What's up, guys? It's me again, Christian Rodriguez, and today I wanted to talk about a different type of video today, right? And I didn't want to make this video, but I feel like I have to make it because so many guys will ruin their lives. And what do I mean by ruin their lives? They'll they'll let I don't want to come off as this misogynistic manosphere guy because I'm not one of those guys, right? But I but a lot of guys let women, right, determine their life for them, right? And what do you mean by that? So, guys, maybe they didn't get attention from women, right? Throughout their most of their 20s, maybe even 30s, right? Maybe they went into their early 30s. They didn't get any attention from women. They got ambitious. They started hitting the gym. They started they started going to they started really studying whatever it is. They got into self-improvement. They started taking themselves seriously, whatever it is they were grinding. And then maybe they're going to a point that they're like grinding and they're starting to like see results of their labor. They're starting to see their bank account go up. They're getting in better shape, whatever it is. And then maybe they're starting to get attention from women, right? And they never really had that attention before. So the first woman that they see, um, she, they end up they end up getting together. They end up sleeping together, and then he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna marry her. I'm gonna marry her. I'm gonna put a ring on her. I'm gonna make her my girlfriend. We're gonna settle down. We're probably gonna have kids. Let me get a house together." And then that's when men just fuck up their lives when they do that, right? Especially when it's too early. And I'm not saying never do that, never get married, never have kids. Even though I don't like marriage, I'm gonna be completely honest. But I'm not saying don't do any of that stuff. What I am saying is don't fuck up your goals. Don't just drop your goals because you finally just got laid. That's basically what it is, right? Because a lot of guys, you know, the thing about YouTube that I notice is the videos that I think are more useful, the videos that I want to talk about, they don't get that many views, right? But then I made a video that was kind of half-assed. It wasn't even that great, and it just talked about girls, and it got more views than I usually had. I was like, "What the?" I was like, "Really?" And I guess that's the point. The point is, guys are focused on women. They're focusing on getting laid, and I get it. I completely get it. Women can be great. Dating is fun. Women could be a very great part of life, right? For us. But at the same time, if you're so focused on getting laid, on getting female attention, you're not focused on building yourself. You're not focused on building whatever it is you want to build, right? Whether it's a business, whether it's climbing up the corporate ladder, whether it's a gym, like you're not going to be focused on that shit, right? You're really not. You're going to be wasting your time, right? Say you marry the first chick that touches your pee, right? You marry the first chick that touches your pee. Just think about how shit that is. It's an anchor. And I'm not saying that women are terrible, but I'm saying that it's an anchor. Why is it an anchor? Because you settle down, right? Maybe you're still young. You decide to settle down. Now you don't have any flexibility. Now if you wanted to travel, if you wanted to if you want to invest reinvest more of your money into your business to grow it, you can't do it because now you have to pay for the kids. Now you have to buy diapers and you have to buy milk and you have to buy what else do you have to buy? To buy shit, you have to get a mortgage. You have to get all this stuff, and it throws you off. It throws you off your game. And then how do you know if she's going to be supportive of your goals, right? Just because she liked you and you guys had some sex, is it gonna make you want to is she gonna support your goals? Because not everyone's gonna support your goals, right? And that's the point. Not everyone's gonna support your goals, and that can include women. And a lot of guys will be quick to abandon their goals once they start getting to women, right? I've mentioned this in a previous video, but I had a friend who just, like we used to work out together. He was actually like in better shape than me, right? He was in better shape than me. He basically coached me. We were like working out together all the time. And I remember he got a girlfriend. He just dropped off the gym. I was just like, "Come on, man." He just like straight up dropped off the gym, or he like every time I wanted to go to the gym, he would always like have an excuse on why he couldn't go to the gym, right? Or it was too hot, or it was too cold, or it was too shit out, whatever it was. He just didn't go to the gym. And I think that because he got a girlfriend, he got comfortable. He was like, "Oh, I got what I wanted, so I'm going to kick my feet up and do nothing." What's the harsh reality of it, right? The harsh reality is you say you work your ass off, right? You finally get to a certain level, women are starting to notice you, and you get a girlfriend, right? Nothing wrong with that, right? Then you get that girlfriend, then you're like, "Oh, man, this is, you know what? I'm going to start I'm going to start taking it easy a little bit." So you go on dates, maybe you used to go hard 6 days a week at the gym, right? And you're like, you just bring it down to 5 or 4 days. You bring it down to 4 days a week. You're like, I still go to the gym, right? And then it slowly just goes down to 3 days. Maybe you just go once a week just because, and then you just stop going entirely, right? Or you stop going super hard on your business, and because you just take it easy. You're like, "Oh, I got my girlfriend. We're gonna go on a date. We're gonna do this together. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do this." And then you're doing everything but what you actually are supposed to do to reach your goals, right? And then this is what throws you off. Maybe you start getting out of shape. Maybe you don't make nearly as much money. Maybe you have a downturn, right? Something like that. And then she ends up leaving you anyway. And I'm not saying that this is going to happen to every person, but there, if you look at the stats of marriage, right? 50% of marriages end in divorce, right? And then that doesn't even include the other people who are still married who probably can't stand each other or are completely sick of each other. So the point is that this happens more often than you think it does, right? You fall off, you probably get lazy, you get comfortable, and you end up just not prioritizing your mission. When you prioritize your own mission, what's going to happen is women, for example, might disagree with you. They might not exactly agree with you at first, and then they're going to respect it. They're going to be like, "Oh, he's working for something. He stands for something. This guy's going somewhere. Maybe I should listen to what he's doing." Right? It's a bit different. I just think it's kind of shit when you're just giving up everything just for a woman. I see it. I've seen it so much. I'm in my late 20s. I see a lot of people my age who are settling down or getting a girl pregnant, having kids, getting married, and I'm just like, and I know they didn't really have goals, or they don't. That's not what they wanted to do. They just felt pressure from family, from friends, from they just had pressure from society to do this, right? To settle down too early. I don't think it's, at least for men. I'm not talking about for women. I think women, this would be a different video if it was for women. I'm talking about this in terms of men. I think for men, especially men in their 20s, you shouldn't be settling down too early. You shouldn't be going for the first woman that gives you attention. Like you shouldn't drop your goals or your mission just because you're finally getting laid. That's basically what I'm talking about. And I see it so often that I had to talk about it. I didn't want to make a video on it. I really didn't want to, but I see it because a lot of guys, they'll talk about how disciplined they are, or they'll act like they're disciplined. And then once maybe like a cute 25-year-old shows up naked or a cute 25-year-old is naked in his bed, suddenly he drops everything and he's like, okay, I'm gonna marry her, have kids, get a mortgage. I'm not gonna go for my goals. It's all right. I achieved a good enough. Don't a good amount of stuff. It's like, no, don't do that, because that will fuck you up. I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe. I'm gonna keep creating more content. Take care.